Hey there, this is Dr. Pam Perry, and we are coming up with Pam Perry's Picks.
Hey yo, kick back, relax, let's dive in the page. Pam Perry Picks got the books for your brain. From fiction and non-fiction, all genres insane. We coming through showing love to the lit game. Greatest stories ever told, gotta find your pick. Imagination running wild, ain't nothing slick. Get lost in the pages, let your mind drift. Pam Perry Picks got your brain in bookshelf vibe. Turning the pages with pride. Pam Perry Picks got the words by your side. Bookshelf vibe. Turn the pages with pride. Pam Perry Picks got the words by your side. From the classics to new, we got the books for you. Get your mind right, let the knowledge accrue. Bookshelf vibe, expanding horizons wide. Pam Perry Picks keeping readers satisfied. Books up high, knowledge we can't deny. Get your reading on, feel the book one fly. Click cover image.
Hey there. So that is my theme song. Thank you. Shout out to Bobby Ivory. I always have to give shout out to him because that song was written by Bobby. Wasn't sung by Bobby, but he wrote it. And that is one of the cool things about having a creative director. But today we're going to be talking about Powerhouse Coach in Motion with Pamela Lue-Hing. There she is. She's going to bring her up right now. Yeah, she looks just like the book cover. There you go.
Thank you, Dr. Pam.
Oh, good. Good to see you. So this book really was the ultimate playbook for new coaches. So we're gonna dive into the book, but I want people to give to know a little bit about you. So kind of give us a little bit of your backstory and that kind of thing.
Yes, so I am, first of all, equipped, empowered, poised, and positioned to move those who are ready to move is my ultimate mission. I wake up every day determined to make a difference in my assigned place. You see, my purpose, my passion, and my focus is to take you, and you from where you are to where you want to be. I'm Pamela Lue-Hing, better known as Coach P, and my focus is to help those certified women coaches who need to package their brilliance, find their voices, and tell their stories so that they can coach with confidence and attract their ideal clients with ease. So I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much, Dr. Pam, for having me.
Oh, you are so welcome. I love that. I love that. I wish I had my applause machine going because that was like perfect. I was like, oh. So she just full disclosure, she is also part of Ready, Set, Go, Speak, which is a premier PR branding program. So knowing that pitch, that thing right there, that is what she does. And also too, she was recently featured in, you see the banner there of in a Women's Journal as well. So I know her backstory, but I wanted her to really tell you a little bit about it because this is actually one of the books, but she has some other books as well. So I'll let you go on and kind of tell a little bit about that.
Well, thank you. So I am a 10-time author, I'm a speaker, and of course, a coach for coaches, for women coaches. But it's not always been that way. When I started out over 13 years ago, I was working and I had received my third pink slip. And I said, Lord, what am I to do? You know, after you receive one, you're like, okay, let me try for another. Then you receive two. And then what happens when you receive three? Well, you ask God, what do I do next? And it really sent me into a tailspin because I knew that God had called me to something greater. But I had to figure out what that was. And so it ended up being, of course, coaching. I was looking at coaching. I was also looking at becoming a therapist potentially. And it ended up being coaching. And so I combined my 30 plus years of experience in business and me being a certified Christian life coach and developed a coaching business. And so I've been at this for 13 years now.
Wow, that is good. That is good. So one of the things too, when the other book, because you did the pink slip, let's talk about those other two books as well. One was a quote book, but what was the name of that particular two books?
Yes. So my first book, and I have it right here, so I'm bending down. So my first book, here it is, Pink Slip to Powerhouse, 12 Steps to Next. Right. And this book has an accompanying workbook. It has a journal. It has a book of quotes. And I wrote this book after I'd been downsized. But it took me about 3 years to really give birth to this book. And it teaches you how to go from employee to an employer. How do I own my own business and transition from the workplace to creating your own workspace? And so that's what that book is about. And then from there, I wrote the ultimate guide for life and business. And so, no, that was actually, it's a 265-page planning system for life and business. And I've
Okay.
done that every year. So this year we have our fifth edition out, and I'm excited about it. Actually, it should be published soon, and so I'm excited about that.
That is so one of the things I think that people don't realize is that when you are downsizing, you have this I call it a you got this way to go. I want to say crossing the road, but road, which way
Mhm,
you want to go.
mhm,
And so you decided that, hey, I'm going to combine my 30 years experience in business, and that primarily what was industry was it in strategic planning? What was it, organizational
mhm.
development?
Yes, so it was business development for a college, and they had
Okay.
hired me to be a business development coordinator for the nursing program to develop their actual nursing program. And then about a year later, the president of the college decided to sever a 15-year relationship with a third party company that was responsible for the recruitment and the enrollment of the students and marketing. And that's when you realize that God has given you so much more talent. And
Right.
the Holy
So
Spirit
so you
literally,
replaced 3 companies.
that's it. And the Holy Spirit literally, I was laying there, and we got the email from the president saying we were coming back to work. It was New Year over the holiday, and he said, "Listen, that company's no longer." It's like, what are we supposed to do? So really, the Holy Spirit led me to create a plan. That weekend, I created an organizational plan, but I put my name in it as the director. I'm like, my name is it. So I'm nervous, right? I'm like, I've never done anything like this. But when we got back, the president called on me to lead the charge. He accepted the plan, and I moved forward. So I became the director of the program. And so I had to hire staff, train staff, all while running an existing college with all the programs,
And do the marketing.
and do the marketing and the enrollment and run that division.
Okay, so
Yeah,
yeah, so that was kinda like a by fire, like a test by
trial by
trial
fire.
by yeah, trial by fire because it's like, okay, now I have all these things. So one of the thing is that's kinda like what they call an entrepreneur, right? It's like you created something that basically wasn't there and you made it, and so you sold it, basically, you
I
sold
did.
it, and they paid you, they bought it.
They
But
did.
then it just kinda like it's like, "Well, I could do all of this." Then there is something else more than what you can do. And so
That's right.
that's when you started getting the downsizing with the pink slips and that kind of thing. I kind of say that in a certain ways you're doing a really really good job. And at this point, it's like okay, thank you very much. You've done everything. You've leveled all the things up. We're now very efficient and we're good. And so now it's
Yeah,
like
it
okay,
was
you work yourself
interesting.
out of a job. You work
It
yourself
was
out
it
of a job.
was
It's like, oh my
interesting.
and
Yes, you're right.
a lot of people do that, and, it's one of those things where it's meant for you to cut the ties to become an
Mhm.
entrepreneur,
That's
because
right.
there's one thing being an employee and doing a really good job with it, but then
Right.
there's another part of doing the business and really being the entrepreneur, and part
Mhm.
of it is what you were doing,
Mhm.
business development,
Yeah,
which was kind of the thing, then also the marketing, which is a big part of what an entrepreneur is,
that's
and
right.
really positioning yourself too with the marketing, and your background is in
Mhm.
your degree was in PR, so that's
Yeah,
part of it as well. So you had the makings of it, but just it was all kind of clouded in the business of doing the job.
that's
In the
right.
interim, you're also like raising your daughter, your fabulous daughter. I want to give a shout out to your daughter. Congratulations to what she's doing.
Thank you.
Tell everybody what she's doing. So she
Yes, actually, today is the beginning of her Michael Jackson residency in Branson, Missouri. So
yeah,
she is performing for her first time for the first, residency there. So she is excited. She called me before the show, "Mommy, I'm going on." I was like, "Yes,
that's
go,
a
baby."
big deal.
Yes, it
It's
is.
a
Well, I
big
can't
deal.
forget about my son now. My son
Okay.
is 33. He's my oldest, and
Okay.
he's an entrepreneur in Georgia. He has his own cleaning business.
Okay, so he got it. It's like he saw that right away. It's like I'm going to be an entrepreneur, and that is good. But the baby is 21, so we just kind of like just see her on because she's just like doing the darn thing at 21. It's like at 21, I was still lost. I didn't know what I wanted to do, much less to be in residency for doing the Michael Jackson show. Okay, like that's like big deal. So anyway, so yes,
That's it.
so two. I guess you say she's an entrepreneur as well because she's her own talent. She's a
She is.
talent so entertainers are their own brand. So she's really her own brand
That's
as
right.
well. Uh,
Yes.
So the thing that I want to say about this particular book, I love this cover too, by the way, is
Thank you.
that now you consider yourself a coach, the Women's Journal for coaches over 40. And
That's right.
so there's a lot of, you're a certified coach, and there's so many different types of coaches. There's business coaches, life
Mhm,
coaches,
mhm.
so now it's like you have a niche within this. And so tell us about your ideal client, of some of the people that you realize over the years who you like to work with and who you really get the best results for, because that takes a while to really kind
It
of know
does.
that.
It does. It really, really does, Dr. Pam. So when I started out, I coached, of course, I was life coaching. And then I
Mhm.
also did some business coaching. And then I also coached brick and mortar businesses. And then, of course, people who were creating online businesses. And so I landed during the pandemic when all of us were trying to figure out, okay, God, what are we to do now? What's happening in the world? And then how am I going to pivot? And I've been speaking quite a bit,
Mhm.
and so at that point, I said, okay, God, I really like to create a program, a coaching program. Now, who is that program going to be for? It ended up being, of course, for women, and how to create a business online. And I went from that to really getting very clear. And so now I really focus on those coaches who are certified coaches. So they've actually gone through programs because,
Okay.
Dr. Pam, what we're finding in the industry, it's a $350 billion industry. And what we're
Mhm.
finding is the coaches are going through certification programs, spending thousands of dollars, which is great. It's their education, right? So I'm a proponent of getting educated. So go get educated, go learn the tools, techniques, and all of that for coaching. But what we specialize is helping them become entrepreneurs, how to run the business, how do you build the business, and how do you make that machine
I've
run
heard.
efficiently and effectively.
That is, because you can be really, really good at what you do. It's like anything, just like you could be a really good doctor or a really good dentist,
That's
but
right.
it's still a practice, and you still have to get people through the door, and they still have to pay you in order for you to stay in business doing what you do.
That's right.
So the thing that I like the fact that you said that the coach has to be certified. So one of the things that you do is you get results for them to be a business person. So you're using your business development, your
Mhm.
marketing,
That's right.
some of the skills, and also too you're speaking. You're speaking as well, because now when you go and speak at different events and things like that, you're really talking to other people about what it is that your company does. So Powerhouse um uh,
Coaching.
yeah, in motion, Powerhouse Coach in Motion is that overall umbrella, I guess you would say, one-stop shop. So
One stop shop, one of a kind, one stop shop. So we've developed what's called the Coach with Confidence Online Academy, and it's a 90-day program whereby coaches come, and mostly for certified coaches, but we do have some new coaches as well, people who say, I'd like to learn to coach.
okay.
And so you don't have to be certified, but that's our primary target, right? Because we do have elements of coaching in there as a refresher for certified coaches. And then those who are brand new, who don't know anything about coaching, they learn how to coach in the program. But during the duration of the program, what they do is they learn to package their brilliance. So we walk them through how to do that. How do you package what you already know? Who are
Mhm,
you going to serve? So we help them identify and get clarity around their ideal client.
mhm, mhm.
How are you going to serve them, and what is your program going to look like? So we help them develop their program, then we help them develop their brands, and we actually have a team that develops their brands for them. Then
Mhm.
we have a team that develops their website for them, and then
Good.
I help them to develop the plan. So at the end of 90 days they have a well run machine.
That is what you do all day, every day. You were doing it in that job. You just didn't know that this is what you could do for yourself. So I love that, because one of the things when there's a brand new coach, they really don't know where to start. And if they're
Mhm.
going to create a website, who do they pick? So
That's
they've
right.
never done this before. So what are the best ways? And every website designer isn't the same. There's some designers that do it for just like products, and then there's some does for services, but
That's right.
it specialty for coaches is important. And then the thing that you said is that you have a program that teaches them for 90 days. So for 90 days, they're with you, they're learning they ask all the questions and all that. So I'm going to get into the book a little bit. So all of this is like the cliff notes, I guess you would
Cliff
say,
Notes version. It is.
that they could probably get in the 90-day. But some of the things, the first part is like building your business, building your brand, building your presence, building your audience. That's so important. And then really talking about, I'm sorry, building your business, build your
Building
plan,
a plan.
and really the whole thing about like what is your business model? Because so many times I heard someone say the other day, I had a client that was on Fox 2 today, and someone says, I saw your client on there. She does coaching, she does group coaching.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh my goodness. I said, we probably need to really make that clear that it is personal coaching and group coaching, because if
Mhm.
you have to ask, that means their website, I didn't design a website, doesn't make that clear. And
Mhm.
someone who is in the business like you are of really helping coaches really position and market themselves, people need to know immediately, what do you do? Is it group coaching? Is it
Mhm.
program, one-on-one coaching, or and that kind of thing. So knowing the business model, and then also too, what I like you talk about is your client's journey. Uh,
Mhm.
that is like a buzzword. They call it the buyer's journey, the client's journey, that kind of thing, and then creating your signature program. So I'm gonna just pull out two of those things that we can talk about, and it's
Yeah.
really the first part of the book. So let's talk about what is a client's journey. Once they've decided, okay, my ideal client is, I don't know, coaches over 40.
Mhm.
So what does a client journey look like?
So the client's journey really begins at your website, because what's the first thing that people ask you when they meet you? What do you do? And
Mm-hmm.
what's the next thing? Do you have a website? Right
Mm-hmm.
now, there is quite a bit of buzz out there. Well, you don't necessarily need a website to get started. You actually don't need a website to get started. So I will be the first to say that. However, if you want to operate in excellence and be in position to tell people what you do and how you're going to serve them and the impact that you're going to have, you want a website. And you
Mm-hmm.
want something, because a lot of people, there's a percentage of people who are quick action takers, and I say they love to drive a car. Then there are some who want to walk, and then there's some who just want to fly. So the ones
Mm-hmm.
who want to fly, you may not even need a website. But a lot of people who really want to drive, they need that roadmap. So they want to see,
Yes.
right? So you need
Yes.
that website so they can go and see. So once they join that website, we teach four basic components of the website, and I help the website developer develop those components. And so,
Ah,
number one, you need a lead magnet.
yes.
So the
Oh,
lead magnet where you're offering value, right, Dr. Pam? So
mhm.
it is maybe an ebook or something that's of value to that prospective client. And then from there, you're offering them the opportunity to join your community. And you're building not just a business, but you're building a movement. That's what it's
Mhm.
all about, building a movement, because people want to belong more than anything else today. People need people connection. Wouldn't you
Yes,
say? Right?
relationships. I mean, I always tell
Relationships.
people, all the time, I said public relations is the public, but it's also about relationships. Media relations is about relationships. It's all about relationships.
All about those relationships. And
Relationships.
so you join your community. So we're talking about the client's journey. Join the community, become a part of that community. Well, what are you doing? You're emailing, you're creating newsletters and keeping them abreast. You're giving value. So that's the first part of your client's journey. The other significant part of the website and of the client's journey, of course, is offering training for them, training and development. And so the website houses your events. So, what events do you offer to keep your prospective clients engaged and
Mhm.
educated? And I always say empowered and
Mhm.
connected. You
Mhm.
also then need a place for them to book an appointment with you. We talked about those one on
That
one
that is
appointments,
so key, because
right?
you don't want to keep going back and forth. Yeah, I want to talk to you. Can you call me? Da da da. This and that. Going in your DM. What about this day? What about that time? That is the website just helps you streamline and scale, because it'll just make everything so automated,
That's right.
and you don't have to be a techie. So I
Mhm.
don't want people to feel like, oh my goodness, I'm over 40 and I don't know tech. Okay, so that whole piece. You don't have to be a techie in order to use these tools. Just like you figured out how to use your phone, you're going to figure out how to
You
use
gotta figure it
all of
out.
the calendar systems, how to update a blog, how to upload a video. Those are things that you can, that should be as simple as maybe using your accounting software, which could be QuickBooks or FreshBooks or whatever you use. I mean, there's
Yeah.
there's an app for everything, so we can't be scared of the apps.
That's right. That's right. Well, that's a very unique part of our program, and that's why we focus on women over 40 who are nervous about that tech. And so there are components throughout the program that's getting them introduced to how to work their tech, how to get comfortable with social media, And also, we were talking about the website and being able to book those appointments. And you also have a place on there for your program to talk about your program after we help you build the program. So those
Mhm.
are the critical elements and the critical pillars of the website development in the client's journey, so that they can stay connected and abreast of what you have going on. And the next part of that journey, once you offer them something for free or as a complimentary a gift, then the next thing is, okay, perhaps you have a low dollar offer.
Mhm.
Perhaps you created a workbook of some sort and you're charging maybe seven for it.
Or a
Then
book.
you have a book,
Mhm.
right? The book at 19.95 that you can purchase on Amazon, by the way. And
Mhm.
then the next thing is, okay, I think I'd really like to know more about your program. So that's your higher ticket item. You might have something in between, something that maybe like 497 or something like that, or you have a full-blown program like the Coach with Confidence Online Academy that's of higher value. And so that's what the coach's journey is. People need to know, Dr. Pam, as you will know, they have to know you, like you, and trust you.
In
And,
order to, that's true.
yes, and before they purchase.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you said they have to have an opt-in gift or some kind of thing.
Yeah.
When there's because coaching is so personal, it's a personal
Mhm.
service, a
Yes.
professional service, a personal service. So they want to know a little bit. It's not like they're buying a widget, not like I'm buying a bar of soap. Okay, I don't have to
That's
walk up to
right.
the bar of soap. But if I want to talk to you and I need to feel your vibe, so to
That's
speak,
right.
they want to follow you on social media. They want to
Mhm.
understand, see your videos. They may want to read your book. They may want to look at the things that you're offering, the lower ticket items before I start spending thousands of dollars. They may want to, just like in Costco, if we're going to Costco, you want to sample the food. And then if they really, really like it, go back a couple of times, like, oh, okay, I'll take a box of that.
That's
So I'll
right.
take a
That's
box of
right.
that. But
Just
you
give them
won't
a taste.
yeah, just give me a little taste, but you won't get the whole box. It's like, I don't want a whole box of this stuff. I don't even know if I like it. So that's why we always say that, when there's a professional that you really, decide that you want to work with,
Mhm.
it's because you probably have gone through that journey with them
With
to see
them.
where you want to end up. And that's what she's saying about the customer journey, because you need to
Mhm.
really devise that and know what it is that your ideal client wants in terms of
That's
what their
right.
journey is. I mean, they sometimes they'll want to know webinars with you. Maybe
Mhm.
they'll want to be in a Facebook group with you. Maybe they want to be in like Ready Set Go Speak with you. Or, you
Yeah.
never know where your clients will go. So that part I really, really like. That was a good part of this book that I wanted you to kind of talk about, because that's kind of, anyway, it's kind of academic, but it's like a marketing term that we always talk about.
Mhm.
And then the part that most coaches want to really grab a hold of and just really have is their signature program. And
Mhm.
this is, I think, where a lot of them will probably figure out, well, I just want to help everybody. And I have a program for this. I have about 5 programs. I have a program for this and this and this. Because if
Mhm.
it's life coaching, it's so much to life. So
That's right.
what would their signature program be?
Mhm.
What's the process of helping them figure out a signature program? Because I know it can be tough, because I know they think they could do it all, right?
Do it all. I thought I could do it all too, Dr. Pam, until you spin those wheels a few times
It's like,
and you bump your head a few more times,
it's
right?
like, let me just try this one thing.
Mhm.
That's one thing, and then I'll be really good at that. Then you can branch out. I
That's
was
right.
telling people, I said, it's not we're trying to limit you. We're just trying to
Mhm.
focus you to branch out eventually. Just not be everywhere all at once when no one knows you, but be good
That's
at
right.
one thing first.
That's right.
Then you can grow into other things. So
There
yes. So
you
how do you
go.
help people figure that part out?
Yes, yes. So that's in module one, session one, when we
Yeah.
go all the way back to self, right? We do a deep dive in self. What are your skills? What have been your past experiences? And the list goes on. So once you've identified what your expertise is and what
Okay.
you're going to focus in, now that might be a broad range. Like you said, I really want to be a life coach. You might
Mm,
come and say, Pam, I'm not sure what type of coach. Am I a mindset coach or am I a life coach, right? And so then we do a deeper dive. We do a deeper dive by looking at the demographics and the psychographics. So demographics, of course, what age range? Is it male, female? Is it both? What type of work do they do? What's their socioeconomic status? And so that's demographics. When we talk about psychographics, what we're really talking about is what's their lifestyle? Where do they
mhm,
hang out?
mhm,
You know, and what types of things do they enjoy doing?
Mm-hmm.
You get into what are some of their pain points, right?
Yeah.
What are their pain points? What is it that they aspire to do? What's their ambition? And once we go through that process, which is an arduous process, then we can really nail down, okay, it is very specific in terms of what they do. So if you're a leadership coach, we go into, okay, is it managers or is it C-suite level?
Ah, yeah.
Right? So
It's
is it,
that.
if it's, where are you going to have the greatest impact if you're doing leadership coaching? The greatest impact is at the manager level. Why? Because that's a bottleneck. Either it can be a bottleneck to congest things, or it can be a wide open vessel through which greatness flows for a company.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because they're directly connected to the people who have boots on the ground and who do the work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
C-suite really don't understand because they're in the C-suite making decisions, right? But the managers are so important. So if you're going to be a leadership coach, again, being very specific about the type of leadership coach you're going to be, what type of impact do you want to make? It's really the critical key. What does God call you to do?
Mm-hmm.
And we look at that. We talk about it. What do you feel God, and you pray about it? What is God calling you to do? What have been your experiences? Because a lot of times, Dr. Pam, this is what we do during the program. We do a timeline of your life. And
Ooh.
so we really begin to look at the experiences that you've had, because life leaves clues if we pay
Yeah.
attention.
Yes.
And so we begin to look at that, and we look at the different types of positions you've held, types of volunteer work you've done, and
That's
what
true.
people tend to call on you for,
Yes.
right? And
That's
so
deep.
once you look at all of that, then we narrow the niche. And if perhaps it ends up being a couple of different spaces and places, what I always say is select one and do a deep dive in that one and create the system and become successful. Create a proven model. We got to make sure that it works,
Right.
right? And we could create SOPs, standard operating procedures for it. So now you can go and duplicate, but do one first, set your goals and determine, okay, what is it that I want to bring in terms of revenue? What do I want to do there? And then
Mm.
how many lives do I really want to impact there? So take on one first and then move on into the C-suite.
I like what you said. Look at the revenue, because you can have an area that you really love, an area that is very something that has just been something in your heart, and but it's no revenue. No one's asking for it. No one willing to pay for it. That means you can't sell it. So,
Right.
at this point, we've got to go back to the drawing board. And then there was
Mhm.
something else that you said too. If you're going to be a leadership coach, whether you're working with managers or going to be the C-suite. And so there's so many people, if we put in LinkedIn, because you're on LinkedIn, if we
Yes.
put in LinkedIn, that you're a leadership coach, but what does that mean? And
Mhm.
so if it's going to be a leadership coach with the C-suite, you might want to call that executive coach, because that's more
Right.
executive versus a leadership coach, which is a manager, mid-manager, and those who want to get to the C-suite. So it is so much to this whole piece. And then I know that you work with a young lady. I can't think of her name. I think she's a grief coach. A grief
Carol Davis is a
Carol
grief coach.
Davis. Yeah.
Yes.
So you helped her really shape that area as well, because that's an area, especially since the pandemic, has really been more people are looking more for that, because during the pandemic, obviously it was a pandemic, so people were just really, you know, just leaving this world,
Mhm. That's right.
just not in the United States, but all over. So it was just a very hyper uh, area where people were just like, there's too many. I mean, every time I would get on Facebook during that time, it was like someone that I knew was
Yes.
died, and I was like, oh my
That's
God,
right.
and no one can process that many deaths at
Mhm.
that amount of rate. It was just
Yes.
crazy. So she was
So
one of your clients as well. So I want
yes.
people to know that they can go to Powerhouse in Motion, and when they go there, what will they find? Obviously, they can get the book on Amazon. Uh, this is something they
Yes.
get as well. But when they go to Powerhouse in Motion, what will they find, and what will they?
They're going to find all the things that I talked about today, Dr. Pam. They're going to be able to get a free gift, which is right now, it's a 5-day series that I did. They can download, they can learn to help them build their businesses out. They'll also get an opportunity to book a call with me, what's called a breakthrough call. They'll learn about the Coach with Confidence online 90-day online academy. They'll learn about that. And then they'll also learn about something I'm doing tonight. Actually, it's a 3-day boot camp, and it's totally free. And it's how to become a triple threat. Because as a coach, Dr. Pam, you already know we've got to know how to speak, know how to take the platforms and take it to the next level. And we also need to become authors. So what does that look like to become a coach, a speaker, and an author? How do you do that? Well, I'm
Yeah.
teaching it tonight at 7
Oh,
o'clock.
that is good. That is good. And what I like about you, Pamela, is that you are very authentic. You lay
Thank you.
everything out, very strategic, very, eh, intentional, very intentional in the things. So, a speaker, author, and a coach, how do you do it? Because so many people's like, well, what do I put first? How do I put it together? Where do I go to do the book? And so you're not teaching anything you haven't done. That's the other thing I like
That's
about
right.
you too. So
Thank
it's
you.
like it's not like you just read it, but you actually did, 10-time author. So they can get the other books on the Amazon link. I put those up there as well, and they can get this book as well. But I want them to go to Powerhouse in Motion to download your 5-part series on that so they can actually get that as well. So thank you so much for
Awesome.
joining us today on
Thank
Pam
you so
Perry.
much.
This is good. I'm gonna try and take a screenshot if I can. There we go. I think I got it. All right, very good. So I'm trying to do two things at the same time. So look at this. Look at Pam. Have these things doing the most, doing the most. DTM doing the most. Well, thank you so much for joining us and being part of Ready Set Go Speak community as well. And I want to give a shout out to the person who introduced us, which is my cousin Carolyn
Yes.
Walker, who is in Milwaukee. Great impressions, great printing, and all the things. She's been an artist since she was a little kid, so she does
She's
graphic.
amazing.
Does it in her sleep, so if you need any help with that, I should have
Mhm.
Carolyn. She's celebrating 25 years this
Is it
year.
25 years? I
Yes,
was
yes.
with her in the basement,
Oh my
Dr.
god.
Pam. I
Oh
helped her.
my god.
Yes, I would help her in the basement. She's just amazing.
She
Absolutely.
is I'm so proud of her of what that business is at. And it just takes focus, staying with it,
Yeah.
persistence, having the right people around you,
Got the right people.
encouraging you.
That's right.
And she did all the study, all the work. I mean, just worked overtime,
Yes,
and
she
it
did.
paid off. It paid
Yes,
off.
that's
Yes,
right.
yes, yes. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, and I will talk with you soon. All
Thank
right.
you. Bye
Thank you.
bye. I
Bye bye.
appreciate it.
So, this is her book, Powerhouse in Motion. Please go there and get her 5-part series. And then this evening, you go to Powerhouse in Motion as well and follow her. I believe her program. Just send her a message. I think it's going on this evening. So, you want to make sure that you're doing that as well because that is this evening. So, with that, I am Pam Perry and I'm out of here. Take care. God bless. Thank you. Bye bye.